Hi, it's Dr. Catherine Morris, and I'm going to talk about some really cool Feng Shui psychological tools. These are tools that you can use to really understand your clients and help them in a more meaningful way. And these are also great tools to have fun with, to learn about yourself and people in your lives. We're going to talk about the 4 motives and space talk. We're going to learn by doing. I'm going to go through these slides quickly here because it was done in a workshop format where time was given for you to vote on which was the favorite slide for you. And you can do this at your computer screen. But I recommend that you do it quickly, that you don't linger, or if you're showing it to somebody else, you don't let them linger on the picture because then they're overthinking it. We really want to get to their subconscious mind. So we get an accurate picture of what it is that motivates them. So here we go. We're going to do the practice run of 4 pictures that were just set up so that you could learn how to do this exercise. So we can ignore these. Okay, so here is where the exercise begins, living room and dining rooms. And you are to select the number and the letter in the yellow box on the upper left-hand corner. Here goes. Okay, stop. Now we do kitchen, same thing. Select the number and the letter that is your most very favorite without giving it any thought. And stop. Now we have bedrooms. Same thing. Select the one that you like best. Oh, I skipped ahead a little bit. This is workspaces. Okay, and you have a questionnaire that you received at the conference. You can refer to that questionnaire, answer the questions on that questionnaire, and then you're going to total up how many Y's, which stands for the color yellow, how many B's, which stands for the color blue, how many R's stands for the color red, and how many G's stands for the color green. So you're going to add up all the numbers, all the Y's, B's, G's, and B's. I said B's, R's. From both the questionnaire and from looking at the pictures of the rooms. And depending upon which one of those colors you scored highest in, that's going to be your dominant color. And I'll go into what these colors mean directly. So there's no better color or worse color. These colors are connected to motivational types, which is what I'll get into. And you are all very much needed in the world, and we have all of these different traits, if you will, in us. It's just a question of in what order of priority. So if you were a green, for instance, that was the dominant color that came out from doing the questionnaire and looking at the pictures, then you would know something about yourself as your main motivation. We'll talk about what green means. The same with any of the other colors. And then the other colors will fall in line behind that. And how they fall in will also give us a sense, a more nuanced sense of who you are, who your client is. Okay, so you figured out your numbers. And we'll talk about motives. Motives are really, think about it as an energy system. It's where the energy in your body goes. Does it go to the mind? And when we talk about the colors, we talk about that as being a yellow type. Goes to the mind, goes to the imagination. Energies, mind's always going. Does it go to the heart? Is it really focused on feeling? That we refer to as a blue energy type. Does it go to the solar plexus? that we refer to as a red energy type? Or does it go to the root chakra, the base of the spine, and that is a green energy type? And people have asked, where did these colors come from? They don't correspond to chakra colors. That is correct, although energetically they correspond to the chakra, the different chakra types that represent motives. So the reason that we have red, yellow, green, and blue is because the actual wavelength of these colors corresponds to the energy that these people have, what they show up in the world with. So with red, wavelengths, color wavelengths are measured in nanometers, and red has the longest wavelength. Yellow comes second, green third, and blue is fourth. So blue with 475 nanometers has a shorter wavelength. And you can read about this. There are lots of interesting things out on the web about this, but you can just think about this as we go through. That's the correspondence with those colors. So the greens are motivated by safety, and when we're green, we like to know that there's predictability in our life, that there's predictability in our environments, that people in our lives are predictable. We like to be predictable. We like safety, we like security, we like order. So we can begin to imagine is a yellow word, begin to imagine what kind of environment somebody who is in a green in first position. Blues are motivated by love. So what's important to them is heart connection, the connection to family and friends, to the group that they belong to. Excuse me, a little dry throat there. The yellows are motivated by their imagination. Their energy goes up into their imagination. Their mind is always going. Their homes are going to reflect that, just as the blues will reflect their focus on their motive of being motivated by love. You'll see family pictures, you'll see pictures of pets. The environment will be a very comfortable one because that's important, very welcoming. The greens' homes will be very organized and orderly, and the style will be whatever the style, the norm is, the convention is for their socioeconomic group, whoever they position themselves as belonging to. So whether it's a kind of historic type of decor, whatever it is that is typical of, as I said, the group that they most feel aligned with. And then we have red, who we describe as having aggressive energy. And I know people object to that. They'd rather have it be assertive, but it is aggression. It's energy that's coming from the adrenal system. The reds are the why not people. They're going to be the people that speak up when something needs to be said, and other people may sit on their hands and zip their lip. The reds won't. And the reds are always in a hurry. They don't want to waste time, and they want a home that enables them to get in and out quickly. They don't want to dawdle. They have a lot of things to do, and their home is going to reflect that. Okay, so here, if you recall the slides that we went through, the dining rooms, here is a green home, an example of a green style. Now, not all greens are going to like this style, but this gives you a sense of a green energy at work. So you have a traditional style. Here you have a very neat, orderly environment. Greens prefer neutral tones. The purple chair is a little bit unusual, a little edgy for a green, but you have rectangular and square shapes and neutral tones. Feels very earthy and grounded. And then you have a workspace that has a great deal of order and control. That is also something that greens very much value. Okay, let's move on to the blues. Now the blues like a very homey kind of nest. The word soft feeling or soft looking is something that will typify a blue home. They like comfort, they like cushy chairs, they like a table that can seat a lot of people or can open up to have more people. They enjoy socializing, they enjoy social events, and we'll look at some of the blue homes. So here we have a blue home with lots of family photographs, comfortable seating, and it's just designed for socializing. Blues also like to display things that they have an affection for. So they could like certain types of shape, bowls or themes of things, something with cows, something with cats. I'm not restricting it to that, but they like to display what they love. Here you see food. That's also something that you'll find in a blue home. And they like things that, as I said, have kind of a soft, very decorated kind of feel. Notice the basket in the lower left-hand corner. Their homes have a cheerful, kind of good feeling to them. You can feel at ease in a blue home. Here you have a bedroom that the word soft certainly applies to, and the word comfort as well. And here's a workspace with a very comfortable chair. The word love is right there in front of them. There are pictures of folks that they're connected to on that bulletin board. And you have another comfortable seating area to the right of the desk chair. Okay, and the yellows they're motivated by imagination, never tire of learning, always interested in what's new. They are going to want an environment that really gives them an opportunity to express their personality and their interests. They don't want anything that looks like their neighbor's house. They want something that is unusual, that is different, unique, interesting. They enjoy gadgets and they like technological things for their home if they have technology bent. They're kind of novelty seeking, and so let's look at some yellow environments. So this certainly expresses the interests of this owner of this living room. The kitchen has very unique, unusual cabinets and backsplashes. Yellows also don't want too much out because they are so easily stimulated that an environment that is too visually stimulating just is not for them. I mean, if it is, it'll add to their brain working overtime, and they will get just burned out and unfocused and overwhelmed. So that's something to know about when working with yellow clients. Okay, so we have certainly an unusual artsy kind of bedspread, books, unusual lamp, unusual side table. and very unique, very expressive kind of a workspace. And the reds, who are always in a hurry. They really value convenience and efficiency. They want their home laid out in a convenient and efficient way. They do not want to waste time opening cabinets, taking things out of boxes, opening closets, going into drawers and dressers. They despise dressers because it's just too much work to have to open them, look through them, etc. They are in a hurry and they want an environment that is going to keep them moving at the pace that they enjoy moving at. They like hard and shiny surfaces, and they actually don't like noise unless they're making it. And the reds kind of don't mind breaking the rules. They don't have trouble with that. Okay, so here's a red living room, and you notice that with all of these color examples, it doesn't mean that the person has a preference for the color red or the color blue. They might, but here is a classic red living room because there's no fuss here. You get in and out quickly. It's easy to maintain. They want easy to maintain environments. Here in this kitchen, they grab everything they need very quickly so they can do what they need to do, get in and get out. No looking in closets, no going through drawers, searching for things. Here's a classic red bedroom. You can just get everything you need, roll out of bed, get your shoes, your clothing on, grab a bag, grab a hat, check yourself in the mirror, and boom, you're out the door. And here's kind of an artful red environment, work environment. You get the feeling of aggression here, but you see the shiny surfaces, and there's not anything extra here. Everything here is here by intention. So, what color are you? Knowing what color you are will help you a great deal in, firstly, crafting an environment that meets your needs. And as I said, help understand your clients. So, as was recommended by other presenters at the conference, take pictures of your client's environment and look at them. Look at them through the lens of these color types. Try to get a sense of what color they are. Listen to what they say. Listen for key words. So here are some key words. Blues are going to use the word feeling, love, touch. Yellows are going to use words like interesting, unusual, unique, different. Reds are going to use words like fast, convenient, efficient, don't waste time. The greens are going to use colors like secure, safe, order, predictable. And one of the questions that was asked was, well, what if you're a green yellow, for instance, and the other two colors as well, but the question was a green yellow. So what that means is that the second and third and fourth colors act as almost modifiers for the first color. So here we talked about the green as wanting to be safe and secure. So for a home, if you're green, you want to make sure that you have good locks, maybe you have a security system. You want to feel secure in your home. But if you're a green yellow, kind of modified by a yellow, maybe your alarm system is going to be some kind of electronic gadget type of alarm system. It won't be just the standard deadbolt lock or security chain, locks on the windows, they'll have some kind of more interesting character to them. And that is how the yellow would be manifest. But that's kind of how it works. So if you were a yellow and you were modified by green, then you would have an interesting house, maybe quite unusual or unique. But the green, and this is not the only way, I'm giving you just one example, this is not the only way that a green could show up in a yellow, but there may be some order to the space, a very particular order, or one room might have a very particular order to it, that things are just so. Even if they look kind of fun and funky and what have you, there is a real order to them. And the yellow would not like it if you went in and moved things around. So that's an example. I give a whole teaching on these colors and what they mean in your day-to-day life. But this is we're focusing on spaces today. Okay, so now here's another learn by doing exercise that you have had a chance to do, and you can do with your clients. And you ask them, give them a piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I recommend giving people pencils because sometimes they like to erase. Pardon me. And have them draw their space. You can select a living room, a bedroom, whatever room you choose. You can have them do the whole house. I recommend doing a room. And the bedroom is always a good room to work with because we get an intimate sense about our clients that a more public room might not give us. So you ask them to draw everything, doors, windows, furniture, and label everything. Now, when you're looking at this drawing, you want to see how much space do they use on the page to draw their room. I've had clients draw a little teeny weeny space. Their room is so teeny weeny on the page, and you just wonder, well, why is it that they didn't use the whole page? Well, that just tells you something about the client. So that's a little extra learning you got there by being able to look at the contents of the drawing, and then you can look at the proportion of different items in the space. So you can do this with your client in the space when you're at your client's home, and then look around and see if the chair that they drew, or if the bed, or if other items in the room correspond to the space that it takes up in their drawing. So if the bed takes up, for instance, a very small space in the drawing, and yet in the room it actually takes up most of the room, that is something that you should pay attention to. That's something you should delve into and begin asking some questions about, if that's appropriate, or just have your antenna up. Why is that is so out of proportion to other things in the room? So in this exercise, you partnered up and you shared with your other two partners about the contents of the room. You did what was called a walkabout, a space talk, and you walked around the space and talked about each and everything in the space, what was in the closets, what were in the drawers, what was under the bed. And you talked about not just the item itself, being what it is, but where you got it, perhaps, how you felt about it, how you feel about it today, etc. And it's great if you have a partner to do this with, because you want the partner to really jot down as much as they can as you're talking, because you're going to notice that there are themes that emerge. I had a client that took me on a walkabout of his professional office, and every third share involved the price of something, the money, where they were at in their career in terms of income. And after I did an analysis of what they said, money became a very dominant theme for them. Now, stepping into their space and looking at their space without having done the space talk, I would not know that. So it really gives us a lot of information, and it gives your clients information. It brings to conscious awareness their feelings and their thoughts about the stuff in their space. And what I found in my research is that people make changes to their space after they've gone through this process, their psyche becomes energized and awakened to things that has kind of been asleep, if you will, or just off the radar screen. And they make changes to their space without any direction or input from me. So it's a marvelous, marvelous tool. Our goal, our job is to almost be like a shaman and just hold the space and be a disinterested, not uninterested, but a disinterested, in other words, without prejudice or bias, witness to them as they speak about their space. You're just there, just with curiosity, but with no judgment, as they share about their space. And you're holding that container for them just to talk about their space. It is a tremendous service, and it really has the potential to be very healing and helpful to your clients. So the next thing that we did was we drew the tic-tac-toe box over the drawing, and that's the start of the process of drawing the bagua over the space. And then we just labeled the sections of the bagua, which you all know how to do. And after you've done that, what I do with clients, what I have done in my research as well, is simply to show that to clients. Again, their psyches have so much inherent wisdom, and part of our job, as I see it, is just simply to be there and honor that wisdom. They're going to have questions, and that's fine. But understand that they have a tremendous amount of inherent wisdom. And we're just there kind of holding the space for that to emerge, turning on the light so that it can be seen by them. And when I label the bagua over somebody's drawing, I just let that be so they can look at it and reflect on what's where, and let them enter into kind of a dialogue with, oh, gee whiz, I have a cabinet, and that's where I store all of my children's drawings and report cards and things that they've had for years. Well, my children are in their 40s now, but that's where I have it, and that's in the children and creativity area. Very nice. Very nice. In the relationship area, however, maybe I have a dead plant, or maybe I have a hamper. So what about that? So this is a nice jumping off point for conversation, reflection, and questions by you and your client. So that's it. Those are some wonderful tools that you have now available to you, the 4 motives and your space talk approach. Thank you for joining me, and you can reach me at drmorris at Feng Shui Psychology. Thank you.
Call the watchman, now it's done. Almost time to rest the brush. Work is done and there's the feast ahead, whistling with its spilling cups. But you won't make it to the feast. Know your patron's starting to retreat. The whisper